Hello my loves and welcome back. This is the first of a two-part series where I wanted to help you to introduce a new cat into your home. It doesn't matter about the age of your cat, whether you are introducing a kitten or an older cat, whether your current cat is a kitten or an older cat. Everything I'm going to share with you in this video and the next one will help you to have a happy home. Now, what I wanted to say is this first video is all about preparing, okay? And this is really crucial when it comes to helping your existing cat. So if you've already got your cat, skip ahead to the second video. But for now, I wanted to talk to you about your current cat, or cats, depending on how many you've got. One of the first things we need to remember is that their world is about to be rocked. Like, their world is going to change beyond anything that they know. So no matter how excited you might be, or how nervous you may be, or all the emotions that you're experiencing about bringing your new cat home, we need to remember that your existing cat is going to have their whole world shifted and changed. And it's really important that you lay some good foundations to enable them to cope with the transition, to cope with that change. You know, it's like as a human, you having someone come and live with you, you know, and if you're not told about it, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? And then you've got to adapt and adjust and get on. And you know, if you think about it human to human, you can talk, you can communicate, and your cats will do that, but they don't obviously do that verbally in your language. So this is where you get the opportunity to support your existing cat. And the very first thing that I would recommend that you do is to communicate. Whether that's from your heart space, whether that's vocally, but sit down and share with them. Share with them why you're bringing home a new cat. Give them reassurance that it's not because you don't love them enough. It's not because they're bad or wrong or you want a different cat. Explain to them, maybe you are bringing home a rescue, or you're helping out a friend, or you want to have more love in your home, whatever it may be. Tell them the reason why. And then explain to them that things are changing, and also give them that reassurance that has nothing to do with them. Like, it's not because they've done anything to upset you or they're not enough, okay? It's important that your cat understands where this shift and change is coming from, okay? So sit down and spend some time with them and just tell them, talk to them. If they walk away, don't worry, continue to do it. I know this may sound a bit crazy, but there is an energetic connection between the two of you, and it's important that you vocalize or verbalize, that's not the right word either. It's important that you communicate what is happening and why things are going to change. It helps your current cat to start to adjust. It helps them to start to recognize things are moving and shifting. And it's not just the stuff in their home, it's also like the energy, the frequency of your home, because every house, every person, every animal has their own frequency. When we live with other beings, we have a general connected frequency, and that is going to change when you bring a new cat home. So first of all, talk to the cat. Second, explain to them that when you are bringing this new cat home, what is going to be affected in their environment, okay? Before you make the changes, before you add the scratch and post, before you put the litter tray in place, before you set up a second food station, before you get more cat beds and cat toys, you know, whatever it may be, talk to them before you do it, all right? This gives the cat a chance to adapt, and this is crucial. Cats are predator and prey animals. They're also neophobic, which means they don't like change. So you bringing a new cat home is the biggest change they can experience. Their territory, their scent profile, everything in their world is going to be like shook up and knocked on its head, okay? So talk to them and say to them, you know, I'm putting a litter tray here, we're going to have this, and talk them through it. And make sure that you are calm and centered and grounded when you're having these conversations. It's not a question of being panicked and stressed. It's about helping your cat to realize that things are going to go down here, right? Things are going to be different. Things are going to shift. The second thing I would suggest, and this will also kind of go a bit into part two, is if you can do any scent swapping beforehand, this is a brilliant way to set up a good foundation for the introductions. So if you are getting, for example, a rescue cat from a cattery or a shelter, ask them to, if you can drop off your own t-shirts, you know, t-shirts that you wear, that you've worn that smell like you, to the current cat, to the new cat, sorry, because that will help the new cat adapt and adjust to your smell. When they've had them for a day or two, bring them back home and let your existing cat have a sniff. Now, don't put it in their cat bed. Don't displace them from what they know is safe and known. put it on the floor in the middle of the front room, put it on your bed, okay? And allow them to sniff and smell and kind of investigate. I would recommend being present for this so that you can gauge their reaction, because if they sniff at it and they hiss, you know that they are already not adapting very well, and you're going to have potentially a few more challenges when it comes to introductions and bringing the two of them together. The more you can do scent swapping, the better. And like I said, it is part of part 2 as well, because a cat communicates via their scent. Their whole world is their scent. Their territory is defined by their scent. So scent is really crucial. If you can bring that new smell home as soon as possible, you're giving your existing cat chance to adapt and adjust. The second thing that I would suggest is that you put down something called a herb garden. Now, I'll link to one of my other videos about this. And I've got a blog as well. It's basically where you get a towel or a blanket and you put down some freshly dried herbs, organic if you can. Now, the towel or the blanket goes in a quiet place of the home, not near litter trays, not near food, not near cat beds. I've got one down here in my office, and I've got one in the dining room. And you put a really good pinch, not just a pinch like you're putting salt in your dinner, like, you know, half a palmful of a dried herb. Now, when it comes to introductions, I would really recommend valerian root, because it helps with stress and anxiety, rosebuds because it's emotionally nurturing, and chamomile because it's calming. So you put them in each of the corners and you let your cat rub and roll around. I don't want to talk too much about that in this video because, like I said, I've got another one that you can watch or read the blog about that. But essentially the herbs give the cat the opportunity to manage their emotions, their stress, their anxiety, their nervousness, their fear, all of these things that are going on because you're making changes in the home. Now, obviously, it's not bad that you're bringing home a new cat. I'm sure you're really excited, and I don't want to put a downer on things, but what I want to help you realise is that your current cat is experiencing a big change, and when we experience change, that comes with a lot of emotions, fear, anxiety, etc. And if you can help your existing cat to manage that, to process that, to heal that, to shift that, when you bring the new cat in, this current cat isn't on alert already, right? If you think about when you're in a stressful situation and then like you hear another bang or another loud noise, or someone else comes to shout at you, like your nervous system just almost like bubbles over. So if you can introduce your new cat and your existing cat is calm and balanced and grounded and centered, you're going to have so much more chance of having healthy introductions, of having a good relationship between the two of them. And the last thing I want to say is remember that your current cat is adapting. So when we talk about introductions in the second video, I want you to remember it's not about your time frame. It's not about your time schedule. It's not about how quickly you want them to get on. It doesn't work that way. Now, I speak from experience because it took me 6 months to integrate my 2 boys. Baby Max, I've got an extension at the back. Baby Max was in there and Leo was in the house because this was his territory. And, you know, it may not take you 6 months to do introductions. Leo's a very, very, very anxious and nervous cat. And we left Baby Max in the extension for a few months where Leo could just see him through the doors and through the windows and things. But the golden rule when it comes to introductions is you go at the pace of the slowest adjusting cat. And that is something you'll hear me say a lot in the second video. So we went at Leo's pace. He was the one that was in the house. You know, he was the one that was established. He was the one that was experiencing change. We went at his pace. Now, yes, we had hisses. Yes, we had fights. Yes, we had issues. But that's why I went incredibly slow. And now my 2 boys, they don't clean each other. They don't sleep like on or mashed up with each other. But they have a neutral association relationship. So they get on. They exist together. There's no fighting. There's no, you know, weeing around the house or anything like that. They get on. So it may not take you 6 months. In fact, what I'm going to talk about in the second video is ways to bring that time frame shorter from my experience. But I just want you to remember that it's not about you. You know, you are simply the vessel to connect, to support, to bring these 2 together, or however many you've got. So I hope this video has helped. Be sure to come into the comments and let me know. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.